It's what happens when you drink too much coffee. That's right, girlfriend. Hey. Yeah, here we go. Some people wonder if I rehearse these videos or if I have to do multiple takes. And the answer is no. I don't have to do that. I don't have to edit them either. I'll see some people that make a video and they'll edit the hell out of it, or they'll do 6 or 7 takes, and I'm just like, this is ridiculous. If you know what you're talking about, make a video. If you have a little verbal flub, just leave it in there. It's just natural. Yeah. Kind of like when a beautiful person passes gas inside of a car. That's just life, right? Now, I don't have it out here. It's really my 5th favorite Fujifilm lens, and I own all the X-series lenses except for the 18mm. The reason why I don't own it is because I don't like it at all. No, I don't. So this is subjective, but as an expert on lenses, and I can very easily say that I am an expert on lenses. I've tested thousands of them, and I've owned thousands of them. I still own nearly 600 lenses. These are my favorite Fujifilm X-mount lenses, undeniably so. My 5th one, which is not here, and I have it, I just didn't bring it out, but I wanted to do top 4, is the 50 to 140. The 50mm to 140mm Fujifilm is my 5th favorite lens. In no particular order. Well, actually, I can do this in a particular order. My favorite Fujifilm lens of all time is this, the 16mm f1.4. By the way, this is a special hood that's made by Fujifilm. It does not come with this lens. It's actually a solid piece of billet aluminum. Doesn't come with it, but it's a very nice hood. This is the 16mm 1.4. It's absolutely frigging incredible. You can get extremely close with it. It's just absolutely, it's just unbelievably good. The 16-1.4 is just, I could just leave this permanently glued to my X Pro 3 and just be happy. Second lens, and it's an easy second. It's really, it's more limited in its use, but this, and I can say that I've owned more macro lenses than anybody. There might be 1 or 2 people that have owned and used more than me, but probably not. And this is the most amazing macro lens I've ever used. It's the 80mm Fujifilm. OIS f2.8. It's great for portraiture. It does have some cat's eye bokeh, but I actually like cat's eye bokeh. It's so unbelievably frigging sharp. By the way, even though I own every medium format, look into my eye. Listen closely. Even though I own every medium format Fujifilm camera and the macro 120mm, yeah, if I were to do some small macro stuff, I would much rather have this on a Fujifilm X mount for macro photography than that 120mm on any GFX camera, including my GFX 100. This lens is so frigging unbelievable, it's hard to believe it actually exists. I forgot I actually took the lens hood off of this lens. I borrowed it for another another lens. That was an observation. I'll edit that out of this video afterwards. Anyway, it's the 80mm 2.8 macro. I remember what I actually took the filter off of that for. I needed it for another lens. Anyway, this is only one of about 3 what I call perfect. There's no such thing as a perfect lens, but I mean this in a roundabout fashion. Perfect zoom lenses. This is the 16 to 80mm f4 Fujifilm. OIS, there's not an OIS switch on it. I told everybody this lens is absolutely incredible. It actually has better bokeh than the 16 to 55 f2.8 lens does. Oh yes, and I have 2 copies of that lens. Even though that lens is a lot heavier, and of course that lens doesn't have OIS, the reason why it doesn't is because the elements in it are too large. You couldn't fit an OIS into the lens design. The lens would have to be a lot larger. Even though that lens is a lot larger and more expensive, this is a better lens. The 16 to 80 f4 Fujifilm lens. What was I doing? I was about to put... I've had too much caffeine today. I've had way too much caffeine. It's the 16 to 80. That's my third most favorite lens. My fourth most favorite. This one was, last year was on sale quite a lot. I didn't get it on sale. I had to pay full price for it like everybody else. Anyway, this is the 8 to 16 millimeter Fujifilm lens. I thought nobody could really make, I held out hopes. Like the 14 to 24 Nikkor, which was a standard ultra-wide zoom for full-frame Nikon cameras, that was bested by the Tamron 15 to 30. Absolutely an amazing lens. Absolutely. What bested that? The answer is this, the 8 to 16 millimeter Fujifilm lens. It's pretty heavy, it's not cheap at all, and of course, you don't have filtration options for protecting the front element for prophylactic protection. But this is it, the 8 to 16. So number one favorite, 16 millimeter 1.4. Then undeniably, right alongside it, the 80 millimeter 2.8 macro. Then the 16 to 80 zoom. Basically the only, I know of two. Perfect zoom lens. No such thing as a perfect lens, but for photography it's perfect. It's unbelievable. Leave it glued onto your camera forever. Along with the 16 millimeter 1.4 for that matter. Unbelievable lens. And then of course lastly the 8 to 16 millimeter Fujifilm f2.8. A heavy lens and an expensive one, but considering what it is and the aspherical elements and the large front element, it's not actually overpriced at all, just the opposite. In fact, relative to the 14 to 24 Nikkor lens, it's quite inexpensive. And I know that requires larger elements to cover the full frame sensor. I know that, but still, it's actually no less expensive to make the 200 millimeter f2 Fujifilm lens, even though it only covers a crop sensor, than it does the 200 millimeter f2 Nikkor, which I have had for years and sold off to buy my GFX 100. Both of them are essentially $6,000. People forget that I actually sell stuff to buy stuff. I sold off that expensive, really expensive Nikkor lens to pay for my GFX 100. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Have a lovely day, and wait for it. Fujifilm. I'm going to edit this part out of the video where I blow off the front element of this lens because I saw some dust on it. I'm going to edit this out later. This lens is a little dusty. People don't clean their caps. They should always clean their caps. I always clean my caps. My caps are not too dusty. Sometimes a little dust gets in there, but always keep your caps clean. Don't ever forget that. Yeah. Using a generic cap on the rear of this one. Oh, that's right. That's right. Yep, there we go. I'm definitely going to edit this out of the video later. Mental note, edit the front element cleaning out.